Chapter 7. No Suicide. A couple of days passed since I could see again, and Aizawa did his best to make me feel like I belonged somewhere and was loved again. He paid me a lot of attention too. No matter what I needed, he in most cases knew it and helped me out. It was quite different knowing that there was a person that accepted me deaf. After 3 days of resting, I was allowed to get back to class, and although I could yell that the class was worried about me, I could tell that they didn't know about my special conditions at all. They cornered me and began taking one after another. Since I was once again deaf, I couldn't hear anything at all. Sometimes I was glad being deaf, and sometimes I thought it was a curse. And this time I was glad about it. Once I glanced over to Aizawa, he immediately came to me and dispersed the group and started the lesson. It was only Bakugo who remained rather ignorant and self-centered. He asked me multiple times what was wrong with me, and all I said was that I caught a bad virus and that this was the reason why I was so thin. Lucky for me, Aizawa told them the same lie, and it wasn't a complete lie too. I really couldn't stomach a thing, and Aizawa took me and especially learned to cook for my sake. It was so heartwarming knowing how much he was willing to do for me, and so I started eat little bits until I felt like anymore and I would throw up. He always told me to take it slow since he didn't want me to get sick, and he was happy seeing me recover again. I was currently at home, or more like Aizawa's house, since he took me off the dorm system so he could be able to watch over me. I am just a bother. He needs to watch over me because he feels responsible. No one would want something like me. I could hear myself inside my mind telling me this, and although I knew it was a lie, I couldn't help but feel my heart clenching at this thought. Me. He would never. I know. But I didn't know. I didn't know it for certain. I only had a feeling. I thought he wouldn't, but I never knew it for certain. Who didn't tell me that he would leave me once I recover? Who told me that he wouldn't cast me aside? Who said he wouldn't get tired looking out for me? There were so many questions, and I could feel myself spiral down a rabbit hole. One, I was sure I wouldn't get out that easy again. I was with him in the same house, only that he was on the PC in the living room and I was in the guest room for now. All of a sudden I started questioning everything, and so I went back to thinking it would be better if I was dead. Without a second thought, I went to the bathroom and did something I would rather not do. I filled the bathtub up with water and let myself in, still having all the clothing on. Since Aizawa made sure that there were no sharp things or things I could break and use as a sharp object, as well as electric things, I was left with no other choice but drowning. I went inside, laid down, and then moved in a specific way so that I could drown, completely ignoring my body's instructions to get to the surface. As I started to feel my consciousness fading, I could also feel someone grabbing me and pulling me out. However, it was already late, and all I could see were black dots finishing the duty and sending me in the land of my dreams. Though my vision started clouding, I could see Aizawa's face one last time, and he looked sad and scared. It was a mixture that I never seen on his face, and one that had me worried. It didn't take long after I blacked out that I starts coughing and returned back to the land of the living. The moment I spit out all the water and gasped for air, I felt Aizawa pull me into a hug. He was shaking, and this was the first time I knew and regretted my attempt. Aizawa. Never do this again. The moment he let go of the hug, he picked me up and we went to the guest room. He made sure that I could read his lips while he gave me a change of clothes and turned around. I quickly changed into them. He after that went to the wardrobe and pulled a hairdryer out. He did his best to quickly dry me down so that I didn't catch a cold before putting me into a sleeping bag. The next day he looked ready to talk, and I was too. I knew that I owed him an apology as well as an explanation. Aizawa. You want to talk about your attempt? Me. I am sorry. I should have known better. Tears were staining my eyes and slowly falling down. All he did was pat my knee while crouching in front of me while we both were sitting in the living room. He at first sat opposite to me but soon went to my side and crouched down so we were on eye level. Aizawa. Kid, there is no need for an apology. Me. But there is. I made you scared and experience something you should have. Aizawa. As Kay said, kid, it's okay as long as nothing happened to you. Me. I am fine now, I got myself down a hole I couldn't get out of. Aizawa. Wanna talk about it? Me. I thought you would cast me away the moment I am all better. I know it's not true, but I could help but think of that possibility. Aizawa. Oh, problem child. I told him everything and he was there listening to the bitter end until I was finished. Jay then hugged me and only released me after I stopped shaking, which I didn't even realize that I did. He then reassured me multiple times that he would never do that, which I now knew too. The face he made when I almost passed away was something he couldn't have faked at all. It was something I didn't wanted to see again. In the end, this was how Aizawa was always there for me even after I got all better. As if that wasn't enough, he got Powerloader to make me a device so that I could hear again, and it worked. Aizawa. Izuku? Can you hear me? The moment I could, my eyes went wide and tears started falling down. It was years that I last heard something. This was so overwhelming that I even jumped out of the bed in the infirmary after the device was successful placed behind my ears. I talked him into a hug and could only whisper as my tears were falling down. Me, whispering, "I do, Dad." After that, everything got better. I was no longer complete alone or needed to hide anything. I was completely me, and Aizawa, I mean my dad, was there for me. End. Thank you for reading, and I hope you enjoyed this story.